I'm a cabinet leader. I am too.
I think they could have got away with not showing his butthole.
3, 2, 1.
All right, well, welcome back to Server Restart In, a weekly World of Warcraft podcast where three opinionated players get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim, joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hello.
And not a lot has gone on with retail. Did we talk about the anniversary stuff last week? I think we did. Because the anniversary started last week, I guess, right? The 17th anniversary. So we've already talked about, the new boss. They updated the drop rates. They added some new.
Did we talk about that?
Maybe not.
I don't recall talking about that, but that's.
No, because it came out on Monday, so that would have been after we recorded.
Yeah.
What day is today?
Today is.
Has it only been
Sunday?
Okay, well, I guess I'm. God, this has been a crazy week. Anyway, so Monday, the WoW 17th anniversary stuff went live, which I guess they do it on the date of the anniversary, not the next patch day. So there's a new world boss, the Doomwalker, outside the Caverns of Time. He's basically just the big what the fuck is
Doomwalker,
the dude in Hellfire.
Yeah. Fellwalker.
Yeah, big Fell Reaver.
Fell Reaver, that's it.
Yeah. You can't think of things. And who'll just like randomly one-shot you.
Yeah.
So he's got a mount and a toy, a Doomwalker Dragonhawk, and a little toy that puts like his head on a pedestal type thing as a trophy.
I gotta remember to buy that.
Buy it?
The pet.
The pet. Yeah, there's a pet too. There's a robotic dragon weapon, but that you just buy for stuff. So on the first day, on the Monday, the drop rate was low. Probably 1 or 2%, maybe 6%.
I did it on like 30 characters.
You did not do it on 30 characters. I did it on 25,
30.
and I know you didn't do it on 30.
I did. Okay, maybe I didn't do it on that many, but it felt like 30. The time I spent in the game was interminable. Like it was a lot of time spent in the game. It was probably an hour, but an hour in our time translates to 24 hours in Azeroth time. So it felt like a lot of time.
It did, and we didn't get it on the first day.
No,
and
we did not.
Went through any character that's level 30 or higher had a chance for the stuff. For loot from the boss. I mean, and it was quick to get there. You just go to Orgrimmar and then take to the Caverns of Time and just go step outside. And hopefully you remembered that you were in war mode and turned it off before you went there. Otherwise it sucked.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah, I did that once. But that was garbage.
I learned my lesson real quick.
Yes. But then apparently on Tuesday they hot fixed it so that it was 100% drop rate.
Yeah.
For both.
And then I jumped on and got it immediately.
Yeah.
Yep.
I logged in. I'm like, all right, time to sit down and go through all 25 characters, see what I can do. And then on the first one, I got it, and I went, oh, okay.
That was anticlimactic.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh yeah, the stuff got patched. And I'm like, motherfucker. It's like, I had a plan. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm going to do for like the next hour or whatever. I'm just going to log into all my tunes, and I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to go. And luckily, he respawned pretty quick, so it wasn't like you waited forever. It wasn't on like some long timer like some like the world bosses are and all that stuff. So, I mean, it was nice, So even if it was, less than 100% chance, eventually, possibly you would have got it. And obviously, not getting something through the event that you're there for is, would feel bad. So, whatever.
I think one of the biggest issues with those events when they happen like that is that you want some form of replayability with it, right? And I think that's probably their intention when they put a drop rate on it like that. But yeah, whenever people are going straight through it and doing it over and over and over and over, it kind of ruins the experience. So now at this point, when it immediately drops, well, then that event's just done. You know, it's just one and done. So, like, they need to get back to the days of like what pre Legion, the pre Legion patch where like people could level up massively through going through like world events and stuff. I don't know, stuff that generates more replayability during that time frame or event.
I think what they could do is they could, like what they did with the time walking raid, but put in like loot appearances that will, you know, come up, or, you know, or stuff that's not, you know, whatever.
Or they could boost the drop rate so it's, you know, maybe it's not 100% chance, maybe it's not a 50% chance, or maybe it's a 50% chance. So, you know what I mean? So it's not a 1% chance, you know, make it a higher drop rate chance.
Was it 100% on everything now?
It is.
Like all the things?
Well, not the gear.
Yeah.
It is on the mount and the toy.
Yeah.
Because the gear appearances are, I don't even know if they're like updated versions. I did get the Akama's Edge one, like the little spiky axe that Akama had in the Black Temple. Yes, no. Is that ringing a bell?
No.
It's basically
like I'm looking at it right now.
So you remember Akama, right? He was like one of like the what are they called? The Broken, or whatever they are. I forget.
Right.
Like, and it was just like a signature weapon that he had. That's all. That's a new one that they put in. But it's like
mini sickle.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hand scythe or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is, and I got it. Great. I think I got everything. I don't know. I don't really care too much about that stuff. But I think what they did with when they had the time walking raid, right? That sure, it was a clusterfuck because it was LFR type stuff, but that was an interesting thing, and you could go through it. Now, if they were to do something like that and put in, you know, maybe have it be random. So like each wing, you know, 4 wings, each ring with like 2 bosses, but have it be 2 different encounters from a pool of encounters for that patch. So if you go in, so maybe in a different expansion or on a different day, it's a different thing. And it doesn't necessarily, and if, I would say maybe every day. And maybe you'd have to limit it if you were going to put in, or make the loot tables shared across each wing kind of thing for like neat transmogs or something like that. But I think that would be, you know, because that could have some replayability, you know, and but something like that. You're right. Like just logging in and going, oh, I killed the boss. I got what I needed. I'm not doing this anymore because I haven't gone back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess I could look at the loot list and see if I need something, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, for alts, you do get, it is some decent gear. I think on max level characters, it's 226.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
that's cool.
But it is decent gear for your level.
Yeah.
So if you're not max level, it's obviously not 226. It's scaled to an appropriate item for your level. But, you know, hey, that's a decent piece of gear, and it's a relatively easy fight if he doesn't randomly target you and one-shot you.
Oh, my God. Seriously. And it's like my luck is terrible because he just randomly targeted me all the time, and I was dead for most of the fight. And I'm like,
So there has been... So obviously last week we talked about the developers preview for 9.2, and since then there has been a shit ton of data mining that has occurred. And I kind of wanted to go through some of it that's like non-spoiler related, because I haven't really looked at any of the spoiler stuff. Obviously I can kind of glean from some of the stuff what might happen, but so one of the new systems that looks like they're coming in is called this protoform synthesis. And what it is, it's a system where you can craft mounts and pets. It's going to be similar to like the thing from Mechagon where you got the cat and you could do it. but there's going to be a whole bunch more than just like one. I think there was like 20 different mounts or something like that. And same thing with the pets. And I don't know if you can customize their appearance or if you just gather the stuff to make them.
Could you imagine if you could customize like the skills that they had and make your own like for pet battles and stuff and make your own like Uber pets, you know, like make a mechanical thing with, you know, like all these different, you know, I mean, there's obviously different variations for pets.
I don't know if they're going to be considered mechanical or not. I don't know what. Yeah, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if they could let you do it so that you could, you know, you could put in 3 different, like, how many abilities do pets have? 3?
3, yeah.
And, you know, you have a pool for slot 1, slot 2, and slot 3. So that way they can kind of balance it a little bit.
And it was dependent on the pets that you had. So you had to have access to the ability. And the only reason I say that is because I have a bazillion pets. So I have access to everything.
That's great for you.
I know.
What
it's not very fair for everybody else. But,
is the materials and stuff like that are going to be in the new zone. You know, they're going to be farmable. And currently it looks like they're either going to be account bound or not bound at all. Meaning that you could take multiple characters in there and get it and send the stuff to one person. I don't know how you achieve or how you earn these things, whether it's you get them as like rewards or you can get them from like a rare mob, like once a day kind of thing. Some of them might be like that. So maybe you could take 5 characters out there and get the item 5 times and send it to your main character that's making the stuff or whatever. But that seems pretty interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
I mean, it's grindy as hell. But it also has clear goals that you can track and work towards.
So here's my thoughts on, like you said, it's grindy as hell, like it's a bad thing.
Well,
let me just keep going with this for a minute. I don't mind things being grindy. So there is kind of a delicate balance, right? And I had a conversation about this earlier in the week about how priorities shift, right, as you get older, right? When you're younger, time doesn't go as fast, right? Time just flows, whatever, normal. And it doesn't don't laugh at me. Time is just time, right? And you don't necessarily value your time as much as you value your money. Right? Because when you're younger, you're usually making a little less money and you have a little bit more time on your hands. Right? But as you get older, time seems to be slipping through your fingers, right? A little bit, you know.
Would you say time keeps on slipping?
Time keeps on slipping.
Slipping.
Yes, I would say
into
that.
the future.
Yes. And so you put a little bit more emphasis on the things that you can do with that time, and you're a little bit more choosy. Right, with the things that you can do at the time, and you tend to spend more money because now you're in the position where you have more money and you can offset the lack of time you have perceived to have with that money, right? So that's where cash shops thrive, obviously, right? Because you can
for us
buy levels
with us oldies.
Yes. So you can buy levels, you can buy whatever you need. Anyway, kind of not really my point. So everybody knows I'm playing Final Fantasy now. I have been for a while. That's fine. It's not really relevant. Anyway, so I craft a lot in Final Fantasy. And that is an aspect that I really enjoy because I think the crafting system was done phenomenally in that game because it makes it's complicated. And you have to, if you want to craft high-end things, you really have to think about what you're doing in order to craft them. And you're not always successful. And that's can be frustrating, but part of that is I also enjoy going out and grinding the mats to make said items, and that's one part that I actually really enjoy. So I guess I'm kind of making an argument for grinding can be good in some, because that's part of the thing that I enjoy, to be able to go ahead and do that, and it makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something. Sure, it's a little less enjoyable than making the thing and having the thing, but it's still a pretty enjoyable thing. I've spent, hours in this area farming crystals so I can be able to make this, because you need a lot of crystals to be able to make these items. And you know what I mean? So I'm doing that, but I'm progressing forward each little bit. So I guess it just depends on how well it's done. I don't know. Does that make sense? I talked a lot.
It makes sense. And when I said grindy as hell, I wasn't intending it to be a bad thing. It just, because obviously the goal is for them to keep you playing, right? They want you to log in, spend your time, have your whatever, their active user count be higher or whatever. But having something in there that's worth the grind, I think, is what's key. You know, it has to be worth it to the player to put in the time to get the item.
Yeah.
And I think that making mounts and stuff like that is fine. I think that that's a worthwhile goal for grinding. You know, I mean, it's like, especially when it's not something that's necessarily like random, right? Because like you can grind or farm for Invincible from ICC on 20-something characters a week and still not get it because there's no progression to it.
Right.
Whereas with like this system, you gather the materials and then you make the item.
Yep. As
opposed to, well, I have a chance to
yes
make the item.
Yes, progression feels better than RNG to me. I hate RNG. It's ridiculous how much I hate it. And that's kind of as time has gone by, I think I've learned to hate it. Either I've learned to hate it more, or they're putting more RNG in the game. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, it's either I am just less tolerant of it now. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I just don't know.
It seems, I don't know. I like it. I think that's a good system. Tier sets are coming back, which is good. They got some information on, they've data mined some of the bonuses, it looks like.
Yeah.
So, but they have said that tier sets are going to be obtainable from raiding, potentially out of the Great Vault, meaning that you can get them from doing any of the things that give you loot in the Great Vault. So you can get it for PvP, you can get it for raiding, you can get it for Mythic Plus, or they have, I guess, the crafting thing called the Creation Catalyst, which is so that you can craft the tier gear. And apparently it's a way to update or upgrade items into the tier set piece. It says something that there's the stats are static, so it's not like you're getting, and there's not going to be any tertiary stats or secondary stats on there. So you're not going to have like the benthic system where like you created the item and you know your stats were kind of like RNG or randomized. So they're all going to have the same stats. So it's not going to be as punishing as like the benthic gear was, where you had to get like 3 pieces to get the one you wanted, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bonuses are going to work everywhere.
That's nice.
As opposed to like the current ones with like the domination sockets or like the PvP stuff, which I still think PvP stuff should only be active in PvP. But that's that. And they said there was some talk about how the domination shards and the fact that they're only yes, we know you don't like them.
Does anybody like them?
You're right.
Well, and that's what they said. Like the concept behind it was to give something to the raiders for their work in the raid that's it's only active in the raid and all that stuff. But because it was supposed to make like raid rewards and stuff like that be like unique and special to raids, right? So obviously that fell flat. They've acknowledged that.
Just to throw out there, not including like the titles or the mounts that you get that are specific to raids, you know.
Yeah, but that doesn't have any impact on how the game functions per se. You know, like I don't know. Anyway, what they're doing is it's only going to be the tier gear is only going to come from raiding initially, meaning that they're not going to implement the crafting stuff immediately. So I don't know if it's going to be like a week or two before that stuff goes active or whatnot. I don't know if you'll be able to get stuff to apply to it or whatnot. I don't know if this means that gear is not going to come out of the Great Vault or whatnot. So, but they still kind of want raiders to feel like their work that they're putting in is rewarded at least for a little bit. So, I don't know. But I did grab the set bonuses for our respective specs, if you guys want to hear that.
Oh, I've looked at the Druid ones, and then
Yeah,
I've gone on.
Then
I went on to Discord to see how my Druid brethren have decided that the things are, because I know how I feel about them, but maybe they're better. And of course, they're early in the testing cycle, so numbers can be adjusted and stuff like that. But I certainly, the Druid healing one, I thought was super.
I looked at balance.
Not a fan. Huh? Well, I know. I looked at both because I've been doing balance and healing, so I looked at them both. The balance one, okay, I guess. The healing one, less so, because Swiftmend isn't really something that I do a lot. So, I mean, maybe I'm a shitty healer, but it's on a cooldown. I can't use it, like, all the time. I really wish they would put Genesis back, which was from Wrath, where you could, if you had HOTS on a target, you hit the Genesis button and it would immediately, like kind of like the bloom with the mushroom, it would immediately bloom all of the HOTS on people. So you could use that as a way to, if you had people were taking a crap ton of damage, you could have set up all your HOTS, knew that they were going to take. I'm thinking like
it's like nuke healing.
The Agrimar fight, right, where he does the knockback and everybody takes a crap ton of damage. Sorry. So you could just throw all of your HOTS on people preemptively, and then once that hits, then you bloom them all, and they're all back up, and you can just start dotting them again, or hotting them again.
Yeah.
I miss that playstyle. I wish they would bring it back. I hate the way that it is now, and I don't really have... Again, I'm not a super great Druid healer, so, there's that too, but...
You're a better Druid healer than I am.
You're just not a Druid healer, which is good. You're good at Shaman.
I'm passable at Shaman. I didn't even look at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they're not meant to be like... I mean, I guess if it's built around something you don't normally use, or that you choose not to use because you don't like the way it works, then, yeah, it kind of sucks for you.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you look at the general, like, Resto Druid community, how much they rely on Swiftmend.
Right.
If it's if it's normally used and you just aren't using because you don't like the way the play style, that makes you the outlier,
right?
Kind of, and it sucks that it doesn't, but maybe in general, Swiftmend is a typical thing.
They do have it posted in the pinned messages on Discord that they're like, it's too early to say whether these will end up numerically strong or not, but mechanically it's really not the type of bonus we were hoping for, which makes sense
for Resto.
For Resto,
yeah.
Yes. Well. Yeah. So what about you guys'? What are you guys' bonuses like?
Mine sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it's probably great. I can't really think of both of mine. The 2 and 4 piece bonus are for Colossal Smash or Warbreaker, which is I think it was an armor ignore debuff or something like that. I don't recall what it is now necessarily, but it was basically something you just throw on every time it was finished, and basically its duration is the same as its cooldown. So you always just you drop it and you keep going.
Right.
So they upped it from 2 to 10% on the 2 piece, and then the duration lasts 3 more seconds. And whatever, that's probably great, but my thought is
micromanaging almost. Like, now you got to pay attention.
Well, it depends. If it just extends the duration, then it just means you don't have to hit it nowhere near as much. But then you have to get up to 75 rage to do the increment from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10%.
No.
So,
I don't think it's you have to spend 75 rage at once. I think it's just as you spend rage, it goes into a pool. So every time it hits 70,
right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're trying to nail the 10% every single time, well then, like, yeah, because at that point you got to stack, then boom. And maybe that lines up with the 3 seconds plus whatever the duration is currently. I don't know. But really, in the back of my mind, I'm like, one, I don't think I would choose to do, and Fury is the same way. I wouldn't choose to do the same skill for both bonuses. Like the 4-piece set bonus is kind of boring, and I'm sure it aligns with the addition of the 2-piece. But really, what I mean, I would have liked to see something a little bit more fluffy, like and showy. I don't know, like something more. Gosh, I don't know. I don't even know what it would be. I just like for a 4-piece set bonus, it's kind of like, okay, well, great. I mean, stats are great. Whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But maybe give me something like ripping ass, like
so
like a meteor falls to the ground and explodes for 100,000 damage or something. I don't know.
Right. So is that ability
something different?
Is that ability? Is it like a debuff where the enemy takes more damage from everything, or just from you, or is it only your stuff that gets?
I don't remember. I think so. Warbreaker was one way, and then if your arms and you spec into it, it upgrades it to something else. Let me look it up a little. Colossus Smash. Let's see. Yep. It removes. Okay, it just increases the damage you deal. So. By 30% is what Colossus Smash does. Warbreaker, if I can find it easily. So yeah, so in that case, let me go back here. So you could go up to 40% instead of 30%, right? And then you get to keep it up longer. In this case, it stays up for 10 seconds. Oh, see, I was wrong. And the cooldown is a minute and a half. Clearly, I don't remember. So, I mean, in that case, whatever. It's 13 seconds, and then the cooldown's a minute and a half. I don't think that changes things very much. So,
well, no, but that does mean that getting the 5 stacks of, spending 300 and
or is war maybe. Oh, no, Warbreaker replaces Colossus Smash. Okay, so Colossus Smash is the default one. Warbreaker is the upgrade. Ugh. Okay, so yeah. And it's not really much of an upgrade other than the cooldown is now 45 seconds. So that makes more sense. So now you're at a third of the cooldown if you can get your 4-piece set bonus. And that's great, whatever. I mean, that's a lot of damage because you can stack it with if you spec into... whatever the 20% thing is at the end of the tree as well.
Yeah.
But you can actually dump quite a bit of damage.
The fact that it's got a 45-second cooldown, though, I think plays into the second or the 2-piece bonus, though, because you have more time to spend rage. Because then that's 5 stacks.
Yeah, I mean, either way you're going to be in it anyways. You're most likely going to be dumping. I mean, at least 2 good hits are probably going to get rid of around 75 rage. So I think you're going to be there either, no matter which one it is. Even though I guess in that case it doesn't matter because that's an arms thing, not a rage, Fury Warrior thing. So yeah. I don't know. It's annoying because
increasing the duration of something. Yeah, okay. It maybe
that's what I'm saying. Like
if
it plays into it, that's fine. It makes sense. But then okay, well, let's map that into the 2-piece or make it combined to 4-piece and do something else for 2-piece. I don't know, something different.
Yeah,
right.
Like the Frosty Case stuff. The 2-piece Remorseless Winter gives you 8% crit while it's active, which yeah. The 4-piece one.
That too. Like it would be fun that these things could be noticeable too, right? I don't think that's not really going to be noticeable other than your DPS. And while that's great, I don't know. I don't envy them for having to come up with things like this because I'm sure it's overly complicated at this point in in the game. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like you could put a little bit of fun into it and still, I don't know, still do something different with it. So
yeah, the 4-piece one is when you consume Killing Machine, which is the one that gives you like a crit on either Frost Strike or Obliterate. It fires Glacial Advance through your target, so that is different. But I think it plays into the crit stuff. But but then that does have a visual tied with it, because as far as I know, nobody takes Glacial Advance ever.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's the one that shoots like.
Well, see, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, throw some unused skills in there. And
yeah, and so I think that's an okay thing, as far as like, because you do get a little bit of visual stuff. Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, but that's the thing with tier sets too, is that it's always been kind of tweaking existing skills, and like it's not necessarily. It would be cool to see them have like visuals associated with them. Kind of like the Rathian's trinket gave you the dragon wings, which was...
Yeah, that was cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was a way to transmog that, because that's a freaking cool effect.
Yeah. And I think, like, my point more so is, like, that's great that it does improve your skill or alter your skill in a way, but, like... I don't know. I still think it'd be cool to have a little piece in there that's like, oh, well, sometimes you fart a comet by accident or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of plays into the whole N'Zoth bonuses that were back.
Oh, the corruption?
Yeah.
You want a slim chance? Maybe they should do that
maybe
for
not to that. Maybe not to the overpoweredness that they were, but something of that nature that just kind of, and maybe it plays along with the tier set and where it comes from and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean,
I guess it's been a while since they've done crap like this, so I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be neat if like just because it's all progenitor tier set stuff, if they all had just like a hidden 2-set and 4-set bonus that everybody gets that does something random like that.
Yeah.
Like if it's a tank, it randomly gives you like a progenitor shield. If you're a healer, it randomly just either heals a target or does like a big
yeah,
heals
maybe
everybody.
Like when you actually finish collecting the set, it like gives you a randomized of anything. You know what I mean? Like you could throw a heal or something onto somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
You turn into a chicken and start booming.
A robot chicken?
A robot chicken.
Yeah. So, other things they mined or whatever, we're getting a new wing in Torghast. It's going to be called, I think, the Jailer's Gauntlet. And I don't know if it's... What I was reading said something that sounds like it's going to basically be a boss gauntlet, where you're just doing boss after boss after boss, as opposed to clearing the floors, getting to the end boss, at floor
You get
boss.
your 20 soul ash.
Yeah, I don't know if... I think they said for that one, it's gonna be cosmetics only, but I think that they're also adding cosmetics and mount into Torghast in general. I think I read something about that. So there will be more things to farm in there, which is good. It's needed. I don't do Torghast that often. But I don't know. I was looking at some of the weapon sets, or some of the weapons from the raid. Where is it? And while they look good, I feel that a lot of the aesthetic for the new stuff, including the tier sets and all that stuff, it feels a lot like it's Kyrian. Like, just... I mean, it's got some of like the light stuff, but more so a lot of like the design choices. It feels very much Kyrian in nature. So I'm going to send you guys the weapons thing if I can find the right place to do this. And not all of them, but a lot of them feel like they're very Kyrian based, and it's just like making them glowy a little bit. I guess they felt they got away from it, but a lot of those feel like they'd be at home in Bastion, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And I don't
right off the bat. I mean, they do all have some sort of triangularness to them that maybe represents,
which is more similar to the stuff in Korthia, I guess. But
yeah.
But it still feels very similar aesthetically to something that you could see in Bastion. Just not, because doesn't Bastion have a lot of those designs?
Yeah. I mean, it's that metal. It's that like heavenly metal look.
Yeah, and it's just like some of the stuff not, because like some of the stuff is, like there's some things that look like constellations. Like I don't know if those are daggers or whatnot. But for the most part, it just, I don't want to say it's lazy, but I just feel like it's not unique enough. You know what I mean? And I guess it kind of makes sense that, you know, maybe their first.
Well, consider too, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versions of the same two-handed sword.
Well, I mean,
reskinned.
You got to think PvP, maybe some dungeon ones. You got the 3 different raids tiers, you know, so some of that stuff makes sense. Some of it might be, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily, yeah, I mean, the fact that there's multiple recolors of the same thing, that's pretty normal, honestly. But I don't know, it just, the overall aesthetic, just again, just, I don't know if maybe that's kind of like to indicate that when the first ones or whatever, the first thing they created, maybe the first Afterlife they created was Bastion, and that was like their first go at it. So they're like, oh, and then they said, oh, well, maybe we should maybe change things up a little bit so it's not quite like us. I don't know.
I'm getting that moss-worn two-handed mace.
Oh, the one at the top?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it looks, yeah, it's like pretty much the shit that they carry in the in Torghast and all that stuff, like a lot of the mobs carry. It's not bad looking.
A little Lich King blue on there in the eyes or something. Yeah.
Oh, it does look a lot like Bolvar's hammer. Come to think of it.
Oh, yeah. It does, actually. That's crazy.
But, I mean, if you figure that Bolvar...
But that actually used mine.
Yeah. But, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of all the stuff that I went through and looked at. There's a snail mount. I mean...
Must be slow.
It's a racing snail. You know, we just need a rock biter now. No, not triggering anything? All right.
No.
It's a Never-Ending Story reference.
No.
Okay. I'll shut up. But, yeah, I didn't want to delve into too much stuff. There were some prototype Pantheon models that were basically just the 4 main leaders of the Covenants, but, like...
Oh, did you look at them?
I looked at the... Here, I'll put them in here.
No, they was pretty cool looking,
They
actually.
look cool. I didn't read anything in that post because I didn't see the fact that it said spoilers at the very end of the title.
Oh.
Because I don't want to read any of the spoilers. But, like, looking at them, they do look neat, you know, and you can obviously see...
Oh, so you didn't... Did you see the... I don't know what he's called, but he's like a... He looks like the dude from iRobot. The robot from iRobot.
No.
I think that's what these are based off of, but I don't know which one this is, though. It's pasted in here, because I don't...
Yeah, no, I didn't... Okay, I see. So that's probably like a blank. Like a...
Yeah, like... or it's just reforming itself into these things, you know, trying to...
it could be. It could be assuming the roles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it could be related to that. I don't know. I didn't want to dive too deep into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
gonna
gonna
say if it's a boss or something like that, that'd be kind of cool if it
took
switches up.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be a neat boss.
Yeah.
If it would swap and like the abilities would change based on who it was pretending to be or whatnot. I do kind of like to think of this as maybe too that this is just like almost like a mannequin, that they use to design stuff on, or like this is just like something that they pump out and then as like a base model that they upgrade for the different things.
Oh, you should read like the first three sentences.
So it is
the
a
third
boss.
sentence. Yeah, that's the third sentence in that kind of gives it away. Like what the point is. Makes it feel creepy.
Oh, so he's making his own versions to control the afterlife.
He's like little dolls, so he doesn't have to be alone together.
Oh, he's like, I'm gonna remake.
I'm a cabinet leader. I am too. Oh, that's kind of sad.
I don't know if it's sad or I don't know.
Twisted.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'd say twisted,
both.
probably.
Both. Anyway, they added. Oh, I don't know. I didn't put this in here. There is a new druid. They're redoing the cheetah form.
Good. I love. Oh, really? I love cheetah form.
Okay,
so
that's
mad.
my perspective. That's my perspective. Sorry.
What did you say?
He said it looks
I said-
ugly.
I think it looks ugly.
Oh no.
Well, here's the link.
Okay.
No, you probably love it, but
It's high res.
Okay.
It's still a cheetah,
Okay.
but it's.
Let me check this out.
I don't think it looks bad.
I like. I think
Okay.
they could have got away with not showing his butthole, but
Well, okay.
you know.
the fact that they didn't put a butthole on there is
These screenshots are a rigid model. I guarantee you his tail isn't going to stick straight
No,
out.
I know, but I'm just saying.
mean-
Did you really need to
look.
include that last one?
You are a cat owner. You know that
You do spend a lot of
everything
time
in your
looking at
house has
buttholes.
had a cat asshole on it, and they
Yeah.
do nothing but shove their ass in your face. So
That's
this
true.
is par for the course.
No, I think that looks awesome. Like, good. I have the cheetah model on. It's nice to have the cheetah model. When you don't want people to ride around on you, right?
nice.
It's nice, But most of the time, the only one who's riding around on me is Jim. So it's
Which hasn't happened lately because she doesn't log
I don't
in.
play.
So-
And I will say I do like my dinosaur because I am a Zendalari troll. So
Yeah.
I do like my dinosaur. So
Is that a 2-person mount?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, if I can have the 2-person mount, like if I could have both the dinosaur and the cheetah for when I'm running around by myself, and the dinosaur for when I am being a taxi for Jim, then that would be fine. That would be really cool.
Maybe
need to look into that.
maybe they'll.
They have a glyph, so I mean, and they've switched the travel form, so you can hit travel form and then you can have the other.
Oh, that's right. You can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that is the case. I love the whiskers though. I think the whiskers look great. Like that.
So
That's pretty cool.
what
looking.
about it, Brian? Do you not like?
Oh, I like the idea that you turn into the same model that's in the world, but like just a regular mob.
Right.
Yeah, that's my only.
Yeah. I do. I like that too. Maybe,
They'll update all the in-game models to
Or-
look like that.
or they'll have new ones that are coming out, and this is going to be a new form that.
Yeah, that's what I figured too.
If that's the
Yeah.
case, though, it would be in the next expansion because you're not going to find a mob like this in Zenith Mortis because that's all like first one's progenitor type stuff. I don't think you'd find.
Well,
like,
yeah,
a
but
normal...
isn't that where they get the ideas for, and they
No, this is
fuse
where
things
they-
together, and this is where they create. This is their
This
creation.
is where they create
This
the
is-
afterlives. This is
No, they said everything that you see. I just rewatched it. You see everything you see in Azeroth and the Shadowlands is from this area. This is their workshop where they're creating things. I literally just watched it the other day.
Okay.
The whole lot of it is so mind stupid fucked. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where they go to in the next expansion after this, where the story ends up taking us, because I've seen people complaining about how the story has just gotten too far away and there's no going back. You can't have like stories on Azeroth now when the players just know how the cosmos work and all that kind of stuff. So it will be kind of interesting to see where they go from here.
We have too much knowledge of the inner workings and stuff.
Well, that's the thing, is that it's kind of true, but from the same perspective, like, it's easy to assume the rest of the world knows that, when in the story they don't.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it could be as simple as like a few people went through and then came back out, and that was it. So,
But it also like destroys the whole concept of religions and gods and all that stuff too. So like, if the people that have
totally, like, there's no chance to even do anything else at that point.
It's like, well, your shit about Elun's kind of fucked.
I was gonna say, what about? I mean, it doesn't destroy. Like, Elun is there.
Elun might be something a little bit different.
And the Loa, like, they're still. Are they saying the Loa are?
Well, we know what's above her now, though. Like, we know what's above her. We know what's lateral to her. Like, she's not as important anymore. Like,
right.
I mean, it's like if you look at the trolls
like
and their beliefs in the Loas, right?
Right.
The Loas represent certain things, and as far as they know, that's it.
Right.
But now we have some trolls that have gone through, which I guess it's really just, where the fuck is, what's his name?
Still in freaking the other side.
No, not him. Not the Loa, our leader. I can't think of his name. Because we haven't seen him since.
Since he died horrifically.
Yeah. The guy was the war chief, the one that took. What the fuck is his name?
We don't remember his name.
The troll.
Zoljan,
yes.
Vol'jin.
That's it. Oh my god, I don't even remember it. I loved him so much.
What are you talking about?
Where the fuck is he?
He was in the other side, wasn't he?
He was supposed to go into the Shadowlands to do some research or stuff, wasn't he? The last time we did like his whole glaive quest?
Don't you wrap it up in the Ardenweald campaign?
Yeah. You need to do Ardenweald.
Oh, I need to finish that. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yes.
I'm an idiot. We talked about this too. I'm remembering now.
Yeah, at some point. Same way. I think it's because at some point, like, he was supposed to be reborn or some crap like that.
Yes. And that's where it's frustrating. The fact that you have to, like, I wasn't going to do any other Covenant stuff, right, than my Ardenweald for my Druid, because I liked Ardenweald for my Druid, and I didn't really care about the other Covenants, and blah, 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 blah. So, if the other Covenants have wrapped up storylines that Ardenweald didn't, you know what I mean? Then I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played those other Covenants. So, it's like, they need to find a way to make mention of it in the main story that's not Covenant specific,
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like Jim, he didn't have any idea what's going on with Ardenweald. I don't remember because I haven't done it in forever.
Well, yes. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make before I sidetracked myself is that the Loa will, like, if trolls realize that their concept or their notion of the Loa is not final, like, to them, that's like the end of it, right? But if they find out that there's more after that, it kind of like really starts to break down their religious beliefs, and it's going to cause all kinds of people to have like internal struggles and all that kind of stuff. It's like, it's almost like the breakdown of fabric. It's like finding out that everything that you've believed for centuries isn't like the 100% truth. It's not real. It's like finding out that, it would be like finding out that, God was really just, some janitor in a big laboratory that knocked something over that created life on Earth, kind of thing. Like made a whoopsie, and and that's kind of what we are, is a cosmic whoopsie from a janitor for like these other things. It's like it would be finding like something like that. Like everybody's like, I mean, well, okay, he does exist. He did cause your creation, but he's not what you think. You know what I mean? It's like it just. It shakes everything down to its core, and it's how it'll be interesting to see where we go. I'm kind of interested to see how they handle this. If they can do it in a way where it's not like all hand wavy, like, oh well, that was a nice dream. We're going back to Azeroth, and it's never happened.
Yeah, I fear it will be that way. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or not, but
okay.
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to even see where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it definitely is. So, well, we'll see.
I hope they keep people's interest. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good spot to go ahead and wrap things up. Thanks everybody for sticking through another episode with us. You can check us out at facebook.com/server-restartin. Shoot us a tweet at server_restart. And catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.